Eli adjusted the controls on his small scout ship, the Orion Scout, and stared at the vast field of stars spread before him. This sector of space was uncharted, quiet, and dangerous in its own way. Asteroids floated lazily, sunlight glinting off the metallic dust in the void, and every now and then, distant streaks of light told of some other traveler passing far away. He had been sent here as a lone human explorer, tasked with cataloging unknown ships, anomalies, or signals. For a human, the risk was high. For Eli, it was exciting. His curiosity had always been stronger than his fear. That day, it pulled him toward a drifting shape near the gas giant Ryloth 5. Something that shimmered faintly against the deep black of space. It looked abandoned. Or at least, that's what he thought. Its metal hull was scratched, and tiny vents emitted soft pulses of light. Eli's heart raced. He had stumbled onto a ship that no human had ever entered before. A golden chance. He maneuvered the Orion Scout close, docking lightly against the ship's hull. "Easy now," he muttered, checking his toolkit. The docking clamps held steady. The airlock was open. Eli pushed the hatch and stepped inside. At first, the ship was eerily silent. The walls shimmered faintly, and the lights pulsed softly under his feet. Strange glyphs lined the corridors, glowing faintly. The air smelled faintly of ozone, but there was no sound of engines or life. Eli's pulse slowed as he stepped further inside, eyes wide. "This must be some sort of ancient research ship," he whispered, scanning the walls with his handheld scanner. It beeped softly. Nothing aggressive, nothing dangerous, at least for now. He walked deeper, feeling the floor subtly shift beneath him. Then, the lights flared suddenly, brighter than before, and the doors behind him sealed shut with a hiss. Eli froze. "Wait, what? Hey! Let me out!" He pounded the wall panels, but there was no response. The ship seemed alive, watching him, waiting. From the corners of his vision, movement appeared. He turned slowly, heart pounding, and then he saw them. Tall figures stepped out of the shadows. Women, but not human. Their skin shimmered with faint metallic tones, and their eyes glowed softly. They moved with an elegance that made Eli feel clumsy and exposed. Their presence filled the room without a single sound. Hello?" Eli said, raising his hands. He tried to appear calm, but his voice trembled slightly. One of the aliens approached. She raised a hand, and suddenly, Eli felt a strange sensation in his mind. A whisper of thought that wasn't his own. It was like she was speaking to him without words. "You are here by mistake." Eli's jaw dropped. Telepathy? He had read about species capable of mental communication, but he had never encountered one. I didn't mean to," he said aloud. "I thought this was, a research ship." Another alien stepped forward, circling him slowly. Her gaze felt like it was measuring his every thought. Eli swallowed hard. He noticed something else. The walls of the ship seemed to respond to their presence. When they moved, panels shifted slightly. When they paused, the corridors seemed to straighten themselves. The ship was alive, in some way, and these beings were part of it. I just want to leave," he said, a little louder this time. The first alien stepped closer, touching a panel on the wall. Instantly, lights danced around Eli, casting shadows that made the room look bigger, taller, more alien. He stumbled back, and his heart raced. "You will not leave yet." Eli froze again. The words weren't spoken, but he understood them. And then a thought struck him. Maybe these beings weren't hostile. Maybe they were protective? He tried reasoning. "I promise I won't touch anything. I'm just, curious." The aliens paused. Their leader tilted her head slightly. Eli realized he had to prove himself somehow. Show that he meant no harm. He looked around. There were panels with strange symbols, glowing lights, and what looked like navigation controls. His human instincts kicked in. He reached into his toolkit, pulling out a small datapad and a scanner. If he could understand how their systems worked, maybe he could communicate with them more clearly. Eli tapped the scanner against the wall, and a soft hum responded. The alien leader's eyes widened slightly. She gestured toward him. Slowly, cautiously, he activated the scanner fully. A soft holographic map projected in front of him. Star charts, unknown coordinates, and strange shapes hovered in 3 dimensions. Whoa, Eli muttered. This is incredible. The aliens watched silently, seemingly approving. They began to communicate with subtle gestures, hands moving in fluid, rhythmic patterns. Eli watched carefully, trying to mirror them. It felt absurd at first, but the aliens seemed to recognize his effort. One of them approached him again, placing a hand on his shoulder. A flood of images and feelings entered his mind. Ships, stars, patrols, and a sense of responsibility. Eli understood it immediately. These beings were guardians of the galaxy. They observed, protected, and ensured balance. And he was on the wrong ship. The realization sank in, but it didn't frighten him as much now. Instead, awe replaced fear. He was inside a vessel unlike anything humanity had built, crewed by beings who were far advanced. And yet, curious about him too. Okay, he whispered to himself. Maybe this isn't a mistake after all. He began to explore more. Every corridor responded to him subtly, shifting, opening, or lighting up as he walked. The aliens followed silently, always keeping their distance, yet never letting him out of their sight. Eli was careful, respectful, observing their routines, learning their gestures, and slowly understanding the ship's rhythm. And then he made a mistake. Curiosity got the better of him. He pressed a panel marked with glyphs he didn't fully understand. Instantly, the floor beneath him vibrated, and a low hum filled the corridors. Lights flashed, panels shifted, and the alien women immediately turned toward him. You didn't," he started, but he was cut off by a sudden surge of images in his mind. He understood their protocol now. This was a summoning sequence, something that called all of them to one place. They converged around him, forming a semicircle. Eli's pulse raced. He had triggered something significant, and he realized that their intentions were not hostile but firm. "You will remain here. You must learn before you leave." Eli's stomach dropped. But amidst the fear, he felt a spark of excitement. This wasn't captivity, it was an opportunity. He forced himself to breathe slowly, observing the alien women. Each of them was a study in grace and precision. Their presence was commanding, yet not cruel. And though he didn't understand everything, he knew he had to earn their trust. He stepped forward carefully. I will cooperate," he said aloud. "I want to learn." The leader of the group tilted her head, studying him for what felt like an eternity. Then, slowly, she gestured toward the main corridor. Eli understood. This was the first step of initiation. He was not free to leave, but he would be allowed to move, observe, and prove himself. As he followed them, the ship seemed to welcome him. The corridors lit up in intricate patterns, revealing star maps, machinery, and data he could barely comprehend. Eli's mind raced. This ship was a treasure trove of knowledge, and he, a simple human, had stumbled into it. For the first time in his life, Eli realized the vastness of the galaxy and humanity's tiny, yet significant, place in it. He had entered the wrong ship by accident, But maybe it was fate. The alien women watched him closely, their eyes glowing softly. Eli felt both watched and protected. Challenged, yet welcomed. He could already tell that this journey would change him forever. And for now, he had no choice but to follow the alien crew, learn their ways, and survive the unexpected adventure that lay ahead. Little did he know, the ship held secrets that could alter the course of humanity itself, and he was about to become part of it. Eli had followed the alien women deeper into the ship, moving carefully along corridors that seemed to twist and shift with a mind of their own. Every step he took made him feel like he was walking inside a living organism. The walls pulsed with soft light, and symbols floated for a moment before fading into the surfaces, as if acknowledging his presence. He had begun to understand one thing. The aliens were not hostile, but their discipline was unmatched. Every motion they made was precise, every gesture intentional, and yet there was a rhythm, almost musical, in their movements. Eli realized he had to observe and adapt to survive and to be useful. You learn fast. The leader had telepathically communicated to him earlier. Observe, adapt, understand. Eli nodded inwardly, though the words were silent. He had never been in a place where thoughts could reach others without speech. The feeling was strange and intimate, as if the alien women could peer into his very mind. But surprisingly, it wasn't frightening. Instead, it encouraged him to think clearly, act wisely. As they led him into a large chamber, he saw that the ship's interior was far larger than it appeared from the outside. High ceilings arched over consoles that glowed faintly with alien script. Holographic maps of star systems hovered mid-air, shifting with the soft movements of unseen currents. Ships of all shapes and sizes drifted in three-dimensional grids, moving like pieces on a cosmic chessboard. This is incredible," Eli whispered to himself. One of the aliens approached, her hand extended toward one of the holographic ships. The display shifted instantly, zooming in on a small fleet, orbiting a distant planet. Eli saw that the fleet was armed and preparing for something. He realized the aliens were monitoring conflicts, not interfering unless necessary, acting as guardians of the galaxy's balance. "They watch but don't act?" he murmured. The leader responded mentally. "We act only when the balance is threatened." Eli took a deep breath. He had accidentally entered the wrong ship, but he now understood that this was no ordinary crew. They were vigilant, patient, and far more advanced than any human technology he had ever seen. Days passed as Eli explored the ship under their supervision. He learned to understand their language of gestures and telepathy. He watched how they operated the ship's systems, how they coordinated without words, how every action was precise, yet flexible. Eli's human creativity started to complement their rigid efficiency. He discovered that the ship had sections that responded to thought. By focusing, he could manipulate certain panels or navigate holographic maps. It was exhausting at first, but he quickly realized that humans could offer unpredictability, something the alien women valued but did not fully understand. One morning, as the ship drifted near a cluster of binary stars, alarms suddenly rang. Eli felt a surge of mental tension from the crew. Something was approaching fast. The leader gestured sharply, and images filled Eli's mind. An alien fleet, aggressive, closing in on their location. Eli's heart raced. He realized this was the first real test of his usefulness. "Let me help," he whispered. He tapped into the ship's systems, scanning the approaching fleet. The aliens watched silently, perhaps curious to see what a human could do. Eli's mind worked quickly. The fleet was large but predictable in its formation. He suggested mentally, "Use the stealth corridors, then strike from the side." The aliens paused for a moment, then subtly shifted the ship's orientation. Eli felt a thrill. They were trusting his judgment. When the hostile fleet appeared in full view, Eli coordinated with the alien crew. He watched their movements, suggested unconventional maneuvers, and even suggested a path through a dense asteroid field that could block the enemy sensors. The aliens executed the plan flawlessly, but they relied on him to predict the unpredictable. During the confrontation, Eli's quick thinking became the difference. He hacked a section of the ship's defense grid to redirect energy bursts, creating a temporary shield for the crew. He suggested baiting the enemy into a trap using the ship's holographic decoys. Each suggestion felt risky, but every move worked. The alien women watched him closely, their glowing eyes filled with admiration. For the first time, Eli felt like he was not just a visitor, not just a curiosity. They treated him as an equal contributor. After the threat passed, the ship was silent again. Eli's hands shook, and he laughed nervously. "Well, that was close," he said aloud. The leader approached him, her gaze intense yet approving. Images of pride and respect filled his mind. "You are valuable. You think differently. You see differently." Eli realized that humans, though weaker physically than many alien species, had a unique strength, ingenuity, and adaptability. The aliens were powerful, disciplined, and precise. But humans could see possibilities they might miss. In the following days, Eli began to explore more freely. He interacted with the alien crew, learning about their history. They were explorers, observers, guardians of knowledge, and protectors of less advanced civilizations. Their missions often required subtle intervention, preventing conflicts before they erupted, monitoring potentially dangerous species, and safeguarding ancient technologies. Eli learned quickly that their society was built on balance and trust. Every decision had consequences. Every action was considered. He found himself inspired and challenged. Yet, curiosity and fear were never far from him. There were parts of the ship he still could not access. Certain chambers were blocked, glowing panels warning him to stay away. He sensed the presence of something powerful inside, something he might not fully comprehend for years, if ever. One evening, Eli sat in a quiet chamber, watching the stars drift past through massive viewports. The alien women worked silently around him, their movements graceful and precise. He realized he had come to respect them deeply, not just as superior beings, but as guardians of a greater purpose. "Do you ever wish to leave?" The leader's thought reached him gently. Eli hesitated. I don't know," he admitted. "Part of me wants to go back home. But part of me, I think I belong here. Maybe humans have a place in this, too." The alien women seemed to understand. There was no judgment, only acknowledgement. Eli smiled. Somehow, he felt that his accidental presence on their ship was meant to be, that humans were being tested, guided, and prepared for a larger role in the galaxy. But peace was fleeting. A new signal reached the ship, a distress call from a nearby human colony. It was subtle, almost undetectable, but Eli recognized the pattern immediately. The colony was under threat from raiders, and they had no means to defend themselves. Eli felt a surge of responsibility. "I have to help them," he whispered. The alien leader tilted her head, as if evaluating his resolve. Then she gestured toward the ship's combat systems, subtly indicating that he could participate. Eli's heart raced. He knew this was a critical test, not just for survival, but for proving that humans had a place among the stars. As they approached the colony, Eli observed the alien fleet preparing. He analyzed the terrain, enemy positions, and possible strategies. He suggested a plan, one that relied on human unpredictability combined with alien precision. The aliens executed flawlessly, but they depended on his creative problem-solving to anticipate moves that their disciplined training did not account for. The battle was intense. Energy beams streaked across the void. Explosions lit the dark sky. And the enemy fleet tried every tactic they could muster. But Eli's suggestions, his quick thinking, and his adaptability turned the tide. The colony was saved without significant losses, and the alien crew recognized his value in a way words could not express. After the battle, Eli floated in the observation deck, watching the wreckage drift past. The aliens approached him, their presence gentle but commanding. He felt their thoughts. "You are a bridge. You are one of us now, though different. Your kind has a place in the galaxy, if you choose to see it." Eli realized that what had begun as a terrifying mistake entering the wrong ship had become an extraordinary opportunity. He was not just surviving. He was contributing, learning, and proving that humans, with their creativity and adaptability, could shine even among beings far advanced in every other way. And as the stars stretched infinitely before him, Eli understood something profoundly human. Even in the vastness of space, even among species more advanced than him, a human could make a difference, change outcomes, and earn respect. The alien women watched him closely, not as captors, but as allies, and Eli, for the first time in his life, felt truly at home among the stars. Little did he know, this was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast, dangerous, and full of mysteries, and the next challenge would test not only his ingenuity, but his courage, loyalty, and the very essence of what it meant to be human. Eli floated near the observation deck, watching the stars stretch endlessly before him. The last mission had been a success. The nearby human colony had been saved thanks to the alien women's precision and his own quick thinking. For the first time, he felt proud to be part of something bigger than himself. But the galaxy was never quiet for long. As he studied the endless blackness of space, a new signal appeared on the ship's console, a fleet unlike any he had seen before. It was massive, moving with intent, and clearly hostile. His stomach tightened. This isn't a scouting party. It's a full assault fleet, he muttered. The alien leader appeared beside him, her eyes glowing softly. Eli felt her thoughts. They come for us. Their intent is destruction. Eli's mind raced. The fleet was too large for the alien women to handle in a straight battle. He realized that their disciplined approach might not be enough. They needed unpredictability, something only a human could provide. "I can help," he said aloud, though the words felt small against the enormity of the situation. The aliens' gazes turned to him, assessing, waiting. Then, slowly, they nodded. Trust had been earned, and now it was time to prove his worth again. Eli moved to the control panel, fingers flying across alien symbols. He studied the enemy fleet, noticing patterns in their movement, weak points in their formation. He suggested maneuvers that the aliens had not considered. Diversion through nebula clouds, rapid directional shifts, and controlled holographic decoys. Each idea was risky, but the alternative was annihilation. The aliens executed his plan with precision, but they relied on him to adapt in real time. As the enemy approached, Eli directed the ship through a dense asteroid belt. The fleet followed, unaware that the debris field hid a trap. He triggered the ship's energy conduits to create controlled shockwaves, scattering parts of the asteroid cluster. The enemy ships collided, their systems temporarily disabled. The alien women watched silently, their eyes glowing brighter with each successful maneuver. Eli felt a surge of confidence. Humans were small, fragile, and imperfect, but their creativity and boldness could tilt the scales in ways aliens could not predict. As the battle continued, one of the enemy ships broke through their defenses, heading straight for the ship's main reactor. Panic rose in Eli, but he forced himself to think clearly. He guided the alien crew in rerouting energy flows, creating a temporary shield around the reactor. At the same time, he manipulated the ship's holographic decoys to make it appear as though the ship was retreating. The enemy ship was tricked, crashing into a phantom projection instead of the real vessel. Breathless, Eli stepped back as the last of the enemy fleet retreated. The alien women gathered around him, their presence commanding yet calm. He could feel their respect radiating toward him. "You are more than a visitor. You are one of us now." Eli's chest swelled with pride. He had survived impossible odds and contributed to a victory that seemed beyond human capability. The alien women's acknowledgement filled him with a deep sense of purpose he had never felt before. In the days that followed, Eli continued to learn and adapt. He explored previously restricted sections of the ship, discovering archives of knowledge collected from countless civilizations. Ancient star charts, histories of lost species, and technological blueprints stretched across the walls. It was overwhelming. But he absorbed every detail he could. He realized that the aliens valued not just strength or skill, but intelligence and adaptability. They had observed countless species over centuries, but humans, small, unpredictable, and clever, were capable of solutions that even they could not foresee. Eli also discovered a section of the ship that contained biological archives. The alien women studied species from across the galaxy, preserving DNA, cultures, and histories. Eli felt a deep connection to this work. Humans, too, had histories and knowledge worth preserving. For the first time, he understood that he had a role as a bridge between his species and others. One evening, as the ship drifted silently past a luminous nebula, Eli sat with the leader of the alien crew. Her eyes glowed softly, reflecting the swirling colors outside. He realized that they communicated not just through thought, but through subtle emotions conveyed in mental resonance. "You have grown," she conveyed gently. "You see differently. You act differently. You are human, yet part of this." Eli nodded. I think I understand now. Humans can't match your strength or precision, but we can see possibilities you might not. Maybe that's why I'm here." The alien leader inclined her head. "You are correct. That is why you were chosen by accident, yes, but also by purpose." The following weeks brought new challenges. The ship received signals of another fleet approaching, this time from a species known for cunning strategies and stealth attacks. The alien women prepared for defense, and Eli's role became critical. He studied the enemy patterns, predicted movements, and proposed strategies that combined alien precision with human ingenuity. When the enemy arrived, Eli guided the ship through maneuvers no one had attempted before. He activated sections of the ship previously unused, creating temporary cloaks and energy diversions. The alien women executed flawlessly, but his unpredictable human thinking created openings that allowed them to succeed where caution alone would have failed. During the battle, Eli realized something profound. Humans had a gift that even advanced aliens envied. It was not strength, speed, or technology. It was the ability to improvise, adapt, and create under pressure. In that moment, he felt truly human, proud, and capable. The enemy fleet was repelled, retreating into the void. The alien crew gathered around Eli once again. Their acknowledgement was silent, but powerful. He had earned their respect fully. For the first time, he felt that his presence on the ship was not a mistake, but a choice of fate. Human creativity and courage had proven essential. After the battle, Eli walked through the ship's corridors, now familiar and welcoming. He touched the walls lightly, feeling their subtle responses. He realized he had learned not only to navigate the ship physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. The alien women were no longer mysterious observers. They were allies, teachers, and companions. In the weeks that followed, Eli continued his work. He studied alien technology, learned their methods of observation, and assisted in protecting other civilizations. His human perspective offered new solutions, and the alien women began to integrate his ideas into their protocols. Humans, once seen as primitive, were now valuable contributors. One day, as the ship drifted near a new star system, Eli gazed out at the cosmos. The vastness of space no longer felt threatening. It felt like a canvas waiting for human ingenuity. He had started as a curious, inexperienced explorer, and now he was part of a team that could influence the galaxy. The alien leader approached him, her presence calm but commanding. "You have proven yourself. You are one of us, though your kind is unique." Eli smiled. "I never expected to end up here, but I'm glad I did. Humans have a lot to offer, and I want to keep learning." "And you will," the alien leader conveyed, a faint smile in her mind. "The galaxy has many challenges ahead, and we will face them together." For Eli, the journey had changed everything. He had entered the wrong ship by accident, but he had found purpose, respect, and a chance to prove humanity's worth. Humans might be small and fragile, but their courage, creativity, and adaptability made them an essential part of the universe. As the stars stretched endlessly, Eli felt a deep sense of pride. He had survived the impossible, earned the trust of a superior species, and discovered that being human was not a limitation. It was a strength. And now, as part of this alien crew, he was ready to face whatever the galaxy would throw at him next. The adventure was far from over. There would be new fleets, new civilizations, and new mysteries to explore. But Eli knew this. Humans belonged among the stars, and he had proven it. The alien women watched him, their eyes glowing softly in the ship's dim light. Eli looked back at them and smiled. In that silent understanding, he realized something extraordinary. Humans were not just survivors. They were innovators, problem solvers, and heroes in their own right. And for Eli, that was only the beginning.